Sweden is leading the way within digitalization and AI. My name is Lisa Tullus, and I represent Business Sweden, the Swedish Trade and Invest Council. And Sweden is here today with a delegation of startups and officials, giving you a glimpse of what Sweden has to offer within digital innovation, primarily towards the public sector. The company delegation consists of 8 innovative startups that provide digital solutions empowered by AI. They are all part of what we call Sweden-Germany Digital Alliance, a platform bringing together Swedish companies with German cities, regions, and public institutions to explore areas of collaboration. And we will soon learn more from some of the companies in the public, talking about AI for the public sectors and how companies and the public sector can work closer together to create value for the citizens. But now we will hear from the city of Stockholm, their history of digitalization, as well as journey ahead. Chief Information Officer from the city of Stockholm, Maria Laxvik.
Hello, nice to meet you. Thank you for having me here in this impressive fair and giving me the opportunity to brag about Stockholm. My name is Maria Laxvik, and I'm the CIO of the city of Stockholm. I've been working within the city for 25 years, so I'm not entirely impartial, but I will try to give you a reasonable, fair picture of us. Let me start with some numbers. We expect to be about 1 million inhabitants, actually this year in the city of Stockholm. And to serve those inhabitants, there are about 45,000 employees in our organization. The expenditures this year is a bit more than 78 billion Swedish kronor, which is about 7.1 billion euro. As in the rest of Sweden, we have an aging population with a descending share of working inhabitants. This means we have to give more care and support to with less income from taxes in the years to come. So, building on a history of innovation with the Stockholmers' focus at heart, I would like to bring your attention to some key points that has brought us to where we stand today. I don't know if you remember 1994, but it seems like at least some of you might do. At the time, I didn't have nor a mobile phone nor an email address. But the City Council of Stockholm founded a company with the task to establish a city-wide fiber optic network, Stockholm it's called. This bold decision has been a huge advantage in our digitalization. In 2007, we launched one of our early collaborations with academy and local businesses regarding mobility and IoT, called Mobile Life Center. The initiative involved well-known companies as Ericsson, Microsoft, and IKEA, among others. And during the years, our council has decided on a number of programs and strategies that have given us a clear mission to work towards a smart and digitalized city. We kept on working in several constellations, and in year 2019, we became a founding partner of AI Sweden. And in 2020, we engaged our first AI coordinator, Morten, who is still with us. Our hard work have been noticed, and we have been rewarded several awards for example, the smartest city in the world at the Smart City Conference in Barcelona in 2019. Thank you. In our quality program, decided by the Council, it stated that digitalization and development is a responsibility in every operation, and that it is to be performed with the Stockholmers' focus. This stresses the importance of knowing and understanding the needs of the Stockholmers. Our role in the IT department is to support, motivate, and point out the direction. We keep on working towards our vision, Stockholm, the smartest and most innovative city in the world. Through collaboration, AI and IoT, we can find solutions that connect the city. The key to our success so far, I would say, is brave political decisions, like establishing Stockholm in the 90s. Collaboration with academia and local businesses. Finding the motivation and the ideas in the daily operations and working close to our professionals, such as teachers, care workers, and traffic planners. These conclusions and our success is grounded on our less successful learnings. We have had periods with unclear political mandate and with projects driven by the central administration without enough support and motivation in the daily operations. It is clear to us that this is not the way to success. So what have we accomplished? These are some areas where ideas have passed states of testing, piloting, trial and error, and that are now results that benefit the Stockholmers, like better and cleaning recycling, increased accessibility, better indoor climate, and so on. As you can see here, some examples. Our collective knowledge and experience help make the city even better. We have elaborated a systematic model of how to go from ideas to results in our daily work. This model has given us a language that helps us talk about and visualize where we are and where we are heading. We are building a better Stockholm together. And I say it one more time. The cooperation with companies and academy has been crucial for us. So, thank you for listening to me. I have it.
Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you. It is now time for the panel discussion, and I would like to welcome David Wallén, CEO and co-founder of Intrik, Richard Schumacher, co-founder and co-CEO of Flowity, and Thomas Berfors, head of expansion REK AI. Welcome. Perfect. So, Intrik, if we start with you, you say that you want to democratize AI by making it accessible to everyone. And you also say that you want to do it to the most important organizations in Europe. What do you mean by that, and how do these organizations need AI?
Right. Yeah. So let's start first by unpacking what we mean with most important organizations. So that would be the public sector, as to why we're here now, but also big enterprises with really tight security requirements and data protection needs. But the public sector is in focus mainly. And the needs of these organizations, our view is that in the perspective of AI, you don't need one solution or one system. You have hundreds of processes that can be automated with AI. So the needs are clearly for a platform. And that is why we have built a platform that has data privacy and data security as a foundation. But then there is also other needs, such that solutions need to be shared. Because our customers or users of this platform, they are not competitors. So if someone improves a process, it could be building permit application, it could be something with social services or serving the citizens. If they improve that with AI, you should be able to share that between municipalities or cities or Bundesländer. So that is what our platform enables, collaboration as well. And the last point of view is that when we take a larger perspective out in Europe as well, we shouldn't do this only in the Nordics. So we've done it in the Nordics successfully, but we're launching now something that we call Project Germany, where we're taking all of these experiences out to Germany as well, because you shouldn't be able to have to redo everything that we've done in Sweden. You should just be able to learn from us.
Thank you very much. And how do you see that this will benefit the citizens of the cities, for example, that uses your platform?
Yeah, so I mean, everyone is aware about the demographic shift, about the reduction of resources and I mean, an aging population. So of course, the fundamental processes that uphold our society needs to be more efficient. There's a saying in Sweden that you need to learn to do more with less, and that is also true in Germany. So of course, when the processes get more efficient, the citizens are served faster and with higher quality, and employees of the public sector can spend time face-to-face with citizens or really improving processes rather than being stuck in admin work. So yeah, it has huge impact.
Thank you very much. If we go on to REC AI, you provide an AI-empowered navigation system for websites, making it easier for visitors to find what they're actually looking for. You have municipalities and regions among your customers. How does this change the way the public sector work?
It changes everything. Oh, I'm kidding. But now we have a specialized solution for a specialized problem. And the problem is that the public sector website is growing and growing and growing. And it doesn't matter how much digitalization you guys do, how many services you have, if no one can find this information. So what we do is that we build an AI recommendation engine on every public sector websites. We have done this in the Nordic for 7 years now. We have 40% of all the municipalities. So to answer your question, I need to explain what we do a bit. So say, for instance, you go into a public sector website on a Monday morning on a mobile phone, you can get the link of you want to call in your kid sick. Not because it knows I want to call in my kid sick, because other people have to do it. Or for instance, it's a flooding Friday night. We see that those information pages about the flooding gets a traffic spike. But the web team has gone home. We take that information and we put it on the front page, the starting page. So yeah, it makes the websites more alive and more dynamic, and it helps you get the information out. And we can be alive in 4 hours.
Very, very impressive. And how do you see that this is beneficial for the citizens?
Yeah, the thing is, the public sector, especially the municipalities, you offer so much to the public, but they don't know it. I have an example that a Swedish municipality, they had free snow shoveling for senior citizens, but nobody used it. But we saw in our data that this information page got a lot of traffic on weekdays morning on desktop users, because that's when the senior citizens join the website. So we started to recommend this service, and it got a spike. Much more people use the service. So yeah. And now we're also exploring how can we help the public sector website, how can we help ChatGPT and AR Overview take information from the public sector website, because that's the future, right? So yeah, we try to make the main information channel more alive, and so the citizen can find information, get inspired, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, and we'll get back to that. Fluity, you provide a digital solution empowered by AI, as the others on stage, AI computer vision to analyze road conditions. that provides in turn insights to cities and authorities. And among your clients are also public players such as cities and municipalities. How do you see, how can collaboration between innovative, smaller companies be strengthened? The collaboration between the smaller companies and the public sector and cities to drive digitalization together?
Yeah, that's a tricky question. I mean, we're addressing a global problem with road AI, meaning that we are trying to help how can we cope with the deficit of budgets connected to road maintenance. And what we have seen, especially on our home markets, the Nordics, I think one way forward is scoping a project which is not too large, quite easy to implement, and go further on the learnings that you have on your smaller projects, because I see a tendency in Europe that you make it so large and so difficult, so it takes you 12 months to get started or even longer. So I think we have found a way forward with actually quite small cities. It doesn't always have to be Berlin or Hamburg. You can connect with small cities that are 50,000 inhabitants and help them actually with a model that is more consumption-based and easy to cope with. But of course, I mean, if we talk about innovation, I think it all goes back to some kind of public funding, some kind of innovation funding. And I think this is a great initiative where I see smart cities. There is actually means for conducting these projects, because afterwards, when you go into procurement, I think it's quite hard for municipalities to, describe the demands within an area which is completely unknown. So for that reason, I think these pilots can deliver insights, so you are much better, procurement process afterwards with your insights. So these are my first thoughts on this question.
Very interesting.
Does it make sense?
Yes, definitely. Do you have any insights or thoughts about the partnerships and collaboration between smaller innovative companies and the public sector? How can that be further strengthened?
I don't know, but can you repeat the question?
How can the collaboration between the public sector and the private smaller enterprises such as yourself, how can that be further strengthened? What is needed?
I can say one thing, which I think that maybe we're going to explore this later, but how maybe Sweden and what Germany can learn from Sweden. And that goes into your question, because when we go to Nordic municipalities, we go to people close to the problem. And they say like, oh, we have this problem, can you solve it for us? And we do solutions for it. And then they say to their manager, can you buy this? This is really good. But when I talk with German people here, I know you guys like titles and hair and all that. And so my advice is to strengthen this collaboration, like talk to people on the ground, which is closest to the problem. Let the companies talk with people on the ground, because that's how we develop our product. We specialized in public sector websites, that's all we do. And we talk with people on the ground, and they tell us the problems they have, and then we make solutions for it. Thank you.
You're all innovative Swedish companies stemming from the Swedish innovation ecosystem that is known for innovation and digitalization. What do you think makes Sweden being a frontrunner within these areas? Where does it come from?
I think the weather, maybe.
It's so cold and boring, so we have to sit home and code.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, but I think, I think the will to try, and that I think is really strong. Like, I do think that the weather is seriously, it's not a joke. Like, yeah, you can sit inside and you can figure out things, and yeah, you will push innovation forward. But also, I think the openness towards trying new things is a contributing factor. As a little comment on what you say earlier as well, like what can the public sector do to work more with smaller companies is to like be a bit brave. I usually on big stages try to at least mention like courage to the leadership. I think is really important to dare to try new things and not only go to the big hyperscalers, because you vote with your money. You have to remember that. So if you always keep buying from an American hyperscaler, that is a vote you're casting. So yeah, and I think there are some brave leaders in Sweden who dare to vote differently. So that's I think you can learn.
Rickard, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, long dark winter, of course, that's contributing. But I also think Sweden is a little bit like a test market. We are happy that we have a lot of early adopters there, and I think Sweden has a long history of export. Because our market is so small, so we always have to think about, okay, what's the bigger picture? That's why we are here in Germany, because we think here's a lot of potential. But then we also have to take in consideration that the working process and the regulations are completely different than in Sweden. We cannot use it copy and paste. But I think it's a good training market for us, and it's heavy competitive. So for that reason, I think we are pretty lucky that we had the possibility to start off as one of the strongest growth companies in our area. Then I don't know if there is something about the school system, which means, I mean, we have some trouble in schools, I think you too in Germany, but there's an attitude which is probably based on why is this. The pupils are always asking, why is that so? And questioning what's the reason behind it, which takes us a little bit further than maybe you just learn and practice what I call just reading and remembering. Because there's always somebody in the class who is asking, why do I need this? Why do I need this? And I think that kind of thinking creates something in innovation also, further in life.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass for the boss in the company, but I think it's a creative process in the company which is quite interesting and dynamic, if you can facilitate it.
So the weather, the risk-taking, and the willingness to try and to question things, to take things further. Do you have anything to add, or do you agree with?
Yeah, the thing I said earlier about talking with people close to the problem. I have another thing, but I don't know if that can add value to you, but I think for myself, and I know Daniel Ek, who founded Spotify, in the 90s, Sweden actually had a home PC reform where poor families or anyone could lease a computer at home. So many kids like me got a computer when I was like 8 or 9, which cost 15,000 crowns, 1,500 euros, but we got to lease it for like 30 euros a month, something like that. And 20 years later, we have a lot of IT entrepreneurs. Who could have thought? But so, yeah,
Germany, we're in Germany now, looking at this market, and it's interesting out of several reasons. Why do you focus on Germany, and why now?
Yeah, should I start? Yeah?
Please.
I mean, Germany is kind of similar to Sweden in many ways in culture and things like that, but how should I put this in a nice way? It feels like you're starting to realize now. I heard someone burned a fax yesterday, or throw a fax in the papers or something like that, in a press release or something. If it's now Germany is ready, if it's now Germany understands, we need to do something, everybody's talking about it, and we have looked into Germany before. We looked into your public sector website and we saw, like, this looks like from the 90s. Why should we go here? But now there's a different talk. So now it really thinks, when I went around and talked with people here, I say I work from a Swedish AI company, and they're like, please tell us what you do. So yeah, I think there's some kind of shift is happening right now. Yeah.
Do you experience the same, Richard, or how do you
I mean, from my perspective, roads and transportation in Germany is a vital essence of the whole society. If it's not working, then you have big troubles. And I see that there are a lot of investments now going on in Germany actually to address that problem. So we hope that we can be a part to address that problem, not only consuming more money, hopefully less, but make it also more efficient and using AI as a tool and actually to identify what's broken, where do we have the damages. So we hope to be part of that journey to help out, but let's see. We are exploring our possibilities here, so it's super interesting to be here at this convention and these discussions. People are so welcoming, I super love it. So I'm hoping that we can team up here together.
So you're also mentioning the openness from the Germans.
Germany is a little bit of home turf since my father is from Cologne, so I'm back on home.
That's great. David?
Yeah, so from my perspective, why Germany? It's two things. The first is that, I mean, you in the public sector have a really large budget deficit and a big problem coming up ahead. So it's the same in Sweden, but a bit of a bigger problem, both in the order of magnitude and the gap. So me as a citizen and a person, I think that since I've shown that I can help make the taxpayers' money more efficient in the Nordics, I feel a responsibility to do it outside in Europe as well. And then Germany feels very natural because you have the same problems and we have identified solutions. So it feels very natural to me. And the second reason is that in Europe, when it comes to AI, we need to learn to stand on our own feet when it comes to sovereignty and security. So, and when you think about all of Europe, Germany could be a difficult market because it's said to be less digitalized. But my perspective is that if we can prove that we can succeed in Germany, then we can succeed in all of Europe. So it's a very, very important for me that we do it here because that sets a precedence for that AI doesn't have to come from the US, basically. And yeah, so that's why.
So as Germany being one of the key players in Europe.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Thank you very much. And if you want to know more about these guys and these companies and the rest of the companies in our delegation, as well as officials, you're welcome to our Swedish fika that we're hosting right after this session in workshop room Beta 8, which is one floor up from here. So welcome for some Swedish coffee and snacks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.